Time management coaching. What is it? How does it work? Well, we're going to give you some tips and tricks on how to maximize your time. When we can live life on our terms, on a holistic level, taking into account not just our business lives, but also our health, all of our relationships, from friends, family, partners, the world changes. So when it comes to coaching people or being coached on time management, there's a whole bunch of different tools out there. There's a gazillion different books on time management and all that. But there's some very basics that I want to start with. And to start with, I think you think about it, there's only three things on this beautiful planet that we can ever leverage. It's our time, our talent, and our treasure. Treasure meaning our money, our stuff, that kind of thing. And unfortunately, most of the time, people are focused on the money because it's the easiest metric to track. It's something we can track. It's tangible. We know when we're losing, when we're winning. But I would argue it's probably the most fictitious and probably the least valuable. Now our talent are our skills. That's something that as long as we don't lose our marbles, as long as we don't have heavy dementia, we can always be improving that, and nobody can ever take that away from us. Our money, well, we can steal it, lose it, borrow it, beg it, hustle it, it can all just disappear. Our talent, we can always be growing it, investing it. There's a Benjamin Franklin statement that says that an investment in knowledge pays the highest dividends. I agree with that. But it's our time without any doubt that is our most valuable asset. And yet this is the one thing that what are you doing? Oh, we're killing time, wasting time, spending time. And yet it's the only asset we have that diminishes every second. It's the only one that gets smaller and smaller every second we have it. So it should be the one that we treasure and we focus on the most all the time, no matter what we can do with it. So when we start to do this, I like to work with people and I like to try and help them reframe their thinking about how are they looking at time. One of the basic things to start with is I ban the use of spending time. I encourage people to think about whatever they're doing with time is they're investing time. And if you're helping coach somebody on time management, great. If you're doing it yourself, think of it this way. Every second you're doing something, you're investing it. You don't just throw money around, you invest it. You get some sort of return. So when you're sleeping, if you sleep really well, you're investing in your sleep, you're gonna have a better day tomorrow. If you're investing in screwing around or playing or whatever it is, but it helps you to become more present. It would be my opinion that the greatest gift we can give anyone, including ourselves right now, is to be present. There are stories out there and there's all sorts of books written on the idea of multitasking. Multitasking is bullshit, it doesn't exist, it's not possible. Human mind cannot handle it. You will actually spend up to 30% more of your time actually just in transitions if you're going from one deep cognitive thought to another deep cognitive thought. So the more present you can be, you can actually start to, in my opinion, almost bend time. It's the type of thing that if you've ever been like heads down, working on something, just going in, and you like lose all sense of time. Yet you come back and you're like, oh my God, I just did all this and I have no idea what time it is. It's because I think in that case, we're so present that we can almost bend time in what we're doing. But the more present you can be when it comes to time management, it's one of those very basic things that can help you with it. Now, when we start to look at time in a different way, one of the tools that I like to use comes from a course that we run called Life on Your Terms, lifeon-yourterms.com. And you can go to that website, it's free, doesn't cost anything. I'm gonna ask for an email. And on that, you can go through and it takes about a 10-minute investment, but it'll give you immediate results of an assessment of where you are today. And I'll tell you why this is important. So it's got 12 slices of a pie. You go through and you answer a bunch of questions, comes up, and you'll be able to review where are we with, how do we feel we're doing today with our relationships, our romantic or partner relationships, family, friends. How are we doing in our health, our spiritual, our mental, our physical? How are we doing? Do we feel, are we managing our time, our talent, and our treasure well? Are we invested in the right place? And then lastly, we look at work. But if you choose to look at that first and understand where we are, this helps us to assess and define where do we have opportunities for growth and where are we strong. So if you're not happy with where your health is and you realize that, okay, we're going to be investing some of our time. Let's make sure that we're investing our time in the right way. How do we make sure that we commit and invest that time and be fully present, and maybe we decide we're going to exercise or go for a walk each morning. But we go for a walk that's quiet without a bunch of extra distractions. It's just walking, and it's very intentional with what we're doing. We're investing that time. You're going to get more out of life by doing it this way. If you realize, I'm not really happy with where things are with my partner. Okay, you could say, I wish my partner would do this, and I wish my partner would do that, and all these other things. But the reality is you can't control what your partner does, but you can control what you do. And if this means that you do something as simple as being present with your partner and really investing quality time, you're going to get more out of it. So I have a little thing I like to call the last pitch of the day. And I'm not very proud of this story, but I'm happy with where I am today with it. But it used to be, I would work all day long, maybe doing strategic planning or facilitation with the leadership team, and I would be cooked at the end of the day. I would be a puddle, and I would come home, and my wife, I love my wife, she loves me, she'd respect that, and I would just want to sit there and drool on myself and look out the window. I didn't want to talk to anybody, I didn't want to do anything. And she'd be respectful. But then my phone would ring, and maybe it was that person I've been trying to get a hold of because they could be a really good client. And I'd take that big breath, and then I'd put it on, hey, how are you? Yeah, good to hear you. Talk. But I would watch the energy drain from Rika's, my wife's face, and realize that I wasn't being fair to her. So what I've chosen to do is I have a blank Post-it note on the back of my office door and a blank Post-it note on the door in the house when I come in. And it just reminds me that when I come home, that last pitch of the day needs to be my best pitch of the day. So that's where, if I can sit knee to knee with Rika, with my phone in the other room or in a box or in the drawer, and talk to her for even just 10 minutes, tell me about your day, and really look into her soul. Listen to her, be curious, be her champion. I can do more in that 10 minutes than I can 2 hours of watching TV, exercising my thumb, talking to her, kinda. So it's being present with what we're doing, whether it's children, whether it's our spouses, whether it's employees, whether it's coworkers. But this is one of those very basic techniques that can really, really help you manage your time better. It's because you're going to get more out of it. Remember, it's diminishing it, so how are you choosing to invest that time? Now, the next thing I'm going to ask you to do is go through, and a very simple technique is to go through and list out over the course of maybe 2 days what you're doing in roughly 15-minute blocks. Now, when you think about this, just part of it is just to create awareness. Just list it all out. Don't worry about where it is. But as you go through here, you'll be like, I'll be damned. I spent so much time doing something, or I should have spent more. It's amazing how much we live our life in a reactive mode. But if you can transition that into a proactive mode, you're going to get a lot more out of it. So when you can transition from a reactive state to that proactive state, it's going to be important. But first we have to create that awareness. So part of it is we create that awareness. And if you realize that, oh my God, I'm addicted to my goddamn computer and I check my emails literally 15 times an hour, whereas I could wait and check it for 15 minutes once every 2 hours, I suddenly just was able to invest time in a different way. Now, the other piece with this is if you go through and start to calculate what would it cost you to have somebody else do these things for you if you delegated them away, and break it down on an hourly basis. So I can tell you that I have an assistant, my assistant has an assistant. I have bookkeepers, accountants, people that I delegate things to. Part of it is I don't like those things and I'm not very good at them. We're pretty dyslexic and I suck at those things. You ask me to set my schedule and I screw it up wrong. But Janine, woohoo, rock star, she's amazing. She's great at those things. Now, the nice thing is that you can find really, really good people in this country for 30 bucks an hour. You can find great people, good people, overseas for 8 bucks an hour. So there's ways that you can start saying, all right, are these things that I hate and that I could delegate away? Now, the next piece is go through and figure out what is it you make. So hypothetically, let's say you make 100 grand a year. Divide that by 2,000 hours, roughly 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year. I know everybody works more, but let's just use that as a rough example. You've now defined that your time is worth $50 an hour. When you've defined what your $50 an hour is, okay, your time is worth 50 bucks an hour or more. When you look at anything that is taking time that you hate, maybe you suck at, and you could delegate it away for less money, how can you delegate and get rid of that shit, get it off your plate so that you can invest time someplace else where you can make more money and you can work in those areas that maybe you can make $150, $200, $300, $500, $1,000 an hour. Where are those areas you can be investing that time and energy? Now you can also use that same sort of overlay, that way of thinking about things, and say, okay, yeah, 50 bucks an hour. Is this worth watching TikToks at 2 in the morning? Would you pay $50 an hour to watch TikToks at 2 in the morning? No, then put your damn phone in the other room and go to sleep. If you're not willing to get up early to do what you're doing late at night, then it's probably not worth doing. But it helps you define what are those areas you should be doing. So if you love mowing the lawn and you feel like you're doing a little bit of exercise and you're giving a great example to your kids, fine. If you're doing it to save money and you get some lawn service to do it for $30 an hour and you could go do 2 hours of overtime and make $300 an hour, maybe you're in the wrong spot. But it's a way of creating that awareness and starting to put definition of what value is around your time. Now, the last thing that I'm going to suggest is think about time blocking. Time blocking it's a time-tested and it's an amazing tool. But if you can block out throughout the day, certain times to do certain pieces, certain things. And when you go in, go heads down, stay laser focused on just that one thing. And I promise it takes a little exercise to get here because we've been so good at being distracted by the Facebook and Twitter and all the other distractions that are out there. But you can actually get more out of this. And the more you time block, stay focused on what's your highest priorities. We've defined what those are. I want to make sure that I'm exercising. I want to spend time with my kids. I want to do these other pieces. But time block those out and you'll get more done. You're putting more intention behind what you're doing and how you're achieving it. So these have been some very basic management and coaching techniques. And if you'd like to learn more, we'd be happy to talk to you about it. We actually offer a course, Life on Your Terms, lifeon-yourterms.com. And through this course, we've got dozens and dozens and dozens of tools that help people reassess and look at life in a different way. From a holistic approach, all the way down to stabilizing, how do we dream, where do we want to go, what does that look like, and then creating a strategy to apply it to your life, all the way through to how do we hold each other accountable in execution. And we have a mastermind that comes after that for the people who've graduated and actually want to resell and use our tools in their environment for the people that they're working with. And if you have interest in this, please feel free to reach out. And if you're interested in some straight up executive coaching, happy to talk to you. You can reach out to me at k@entadv.com. Hope you're smiling. Hope this helped a little bit. If you liked it, please subscribe, hit like, whatever you're supposed to do on this channel, I'm not sure. But please feel free to share it, and thank you very much for investing your precious time with me today. Keep smiling.